If you buy cheese at Sam's Club, there's a good chance you're wasting money and not even realizing it. The bulk sizes, the store brand deals, the look how much you get effect. It all feels smart until half of it goes bad, tastes off, or ends up costing more than buying smaller packs elsewhere. We're breaking down the 9 biggest reasons why buying cheese at Sam's Club could be one of the worst grocery mistakes you're making. And number 1, it's the kind of truth you'll wish you knew sooner. Let's go. 9. The fake bargain of giant packs. You walk into Sam's Club and see it. A huge block of cheese for under $10. Your brain says, deal, your cart agrees, and before you know it, it's coming home with you. But here's the trick. That bulk packaging isn't always saving you money. When you break it down by the price per pound, that deal often turns out worse than what you'd pay at Aldi or even Walmart. And the kicker? You probably didn't even realize you were overpaying. You felt like a smart shopper, and that's exactly the illusion they want you to buy into. Think about this. Are you really saving when the math tells a different story? One shopper in Ohio shared her experience. She picked up a big mozzarella block, feeling proud of her frugal find, until she got home and did the math. I could have bought 3 smaller packs for less, she admitted. That's not savings, that's being tricked by size. Because when something looks like a bulk bargain, your guard drops. But Sam's Club knows how to make it look appealing, even when it's not. So here's the question. How many of us have made this mistake and never even noticed? How many bargains are actually bleeding our wallets without us realizing it? The next time you reach for a big block of cheese that seems too good to pass up, pause. Ask yourself, what's the real cost per pound? Stick around. It only gets worse from here. 8. Waste. You can't avoid. Let's be honest. Unless you're feeding a small army or running a grilled cheese food truck, there's just no way most households finish a 5-pound bag of cheese before it turns. Sure, it feels like you're making a smart bulk buy at Sam's Club. But by week 2, that deal is hiding in the back of the fridge, sealed tight, but already growing green spots and giving off that unmistakable sour smell. Sound familiar? You didn't just buy cheese, you bought a ticking time bomb for your refrigerator. One of our viewers said it best. It started smelling weird after a week. I had to throw out 2 pounds. That's not just frustrating. It's money in the trash. And here's the part no one talks about. The guilt. The silent frustration when you realize that savings you were proud of is now compost. How often does that happen to you? Be honest. Because no one's bragging about moldy mozzarella they paid $12.98 for. Yet it keeps happening. And Sam's Club knows it. So ask yourself, is buying bulk worth it if half of it ends up wasted? Isn't the real savings found in what you actually use, not what you throw away? The food waste crisis in America is real, and cheese is one of the top offenders. When you're tossing out food, you're not just losing money. You're throwing away the exact thing you tried to save. And we're only getting started. The next reason? It hits before you even open the bag. 7. Short shelf life and freshness issues. This one catches people off guard, because on the outside everything looks fine. The packaging is sealed, the expiration date is weeks away, and the cheese is cold. But here's the truth. Sam's Club won't tell you. A lot of their pre-shredded and pre-sliced cheese spends a long time sitting in cold storage before it ever hits the shelf. And by the time you bring it home, the clock's been ticking for a while. Dry corners, rubbery texture, and that faint plastic smell. Not exactly what you had in mind for taco night. Think about how many times you've opened a new bag of cheese and thought, this smells off, but used it anyway. One shopper told us, it wasn't even expired, but it tasted like the fridge. That's not just disappointing. It's a betrayal of the whole reason you went bulk in the first place. You wanted to save money. You wanted convenience. But what you got was stale, flavorless disappointment. Because what good is a giant bag of cheese if every bite tastes like it's been hiding in the back of a warehouse? Let's get real. Cheese should taste fresh, creamy, and rich, not like the packaging it came in. So here's a question for you. Are you buying value or just volume? If your cheese hits its flavor peak before you even open it, that's not a deal. That's a dud. And sadly, it's a story we've heard over and over from Sam's Club shoppers. Quick pause. If you've ever been let down by food that promised savings but ended in disappointment, this channel's for you. Hit that like button and subscribe to Frugal Daily, where we expose the truth behind so-called deals and help you shop smarter every time. Let's get back to it, and trust me, what's coming next will surprise you. 6. Store brand disappointment. Let's not sugarcoat it. Not every store brand hits the mark. And when it comes to Sam's Club's Members Mark cheese, that truth becomes painfully obvious. While their paper towels might be decent, the same can't be said for their cheddar, mozzarella, or cream cheese. Customers across the country are saying the same thing. Weird textures, watered-down flavor, and that unsettling feeling that what you just ate wasn't quite right. It's cheese that looks fine but feels wrong in your mouth. A silent letdown hidden behind the idea of savings. One Reddit user nailed it. It looks like cheese. It just doesn't act like it. That line hit home for a lot of people. Because when you melt it, it doesn't bubble the way real cheese should. When you bite into it, there's no richness. It's bland, rubbery, and forgettable. And when it comes to cream cheese, let's just say spreadable isn't the word most shoppers would use. You expect value from a store brand, not a science experiment. And when even budget shoppers are giving up on it, that's a red flag you can't ignore. So here's a challenge. Next time you're at Sam's Club, stop in front of that wall of Members Mark cheese and ask yourself, do I want to use this or just tolerate it? Because for the same price or less, you could be getting cheese that actually melts, tastes, and satisfies like it's supposed to. Don't settle for imitation savings. And stick around, because the next mistake? It's one most shoppers make without even realizing they've ruined the entire bag. 5. The freezer trap. Here's a classic mistake that sounds smart, until it isn't. You buy a bulk pack of cheese at Sam's Club and think, no problem, I'll freeze the extra. Sounds logical, right? But what they don't tell you is that cheese, especially softer ones like provolone, mozzarella, and cream cheese, doesn't come back the same. It's like freezing a memory foam pillow and expecting it to bounce back. Once it thaws, the texture is shot, the flavor is dull, and the joy of cheese, gone. We heard from a dad in Arizona who tried exactly that. He froze a big bag of provolone slices thinking he'd outsmart the expiration date. When he defrosted it a couple of weeks later, his words? It tasted like a chewy sponge. And he's not the only one. Viewers have told us stories of shredded cheese clumping together, slices turning watery, and entire bags going straight from the freezer to the trash. You thought you were preserving value, but you were just prolonging disappointment. So let's be real. Freezing might save leftovers, but it doesn't save a bad decision. If you're buying more cheese than you can realistically use, you're not prepping, you're gambling. And the house always wins. Ask yourself, is a soggy, flavorless thawed mess really worth the shelf space? Stick with us, because the next reason exposes one of the most overpriced tricks in the whole store. And it's hiding behind a fancy label. 4. Overpriced imported cheese. There's something about a wedge of brie or a chunk of manchego with a gold foil label that makes you feel fancy, like you just scored a gourmet win. But don't let the imported vibes fool you. At Sam's Club, that elegant packaging often hides one of the oldest tricks in retail, making you pay more for the illusion of quality. And here's the kicker. Ounce for ounce, many of these cheeses cost more at Sam's than they do at Trader Joe's, or even specialty delis that actually know cheese. Let that sink in. You're in a warehouse store, built around the promise of bulk savings, and yet you're paying premium prices for imported cheese that isn't even premium. One viewer told us they bought a block of Gouda thinking it was a steal, until they spotted the same brand a few days later at a local grocery store for $3 less. Same weight, same origin, just less hype. That's not a deal. That's retail smoke and mirrors. So here's a question. Are you buying cheese or buying a story? Because just seeing the word imported doesn't guarantee quality. It guarantees a markup. Don't let the European-sounding names fool you into overpaying for a mediocre product. And if this one stings a little, wait until you hear what happens when you're stuck eating the same cheese over and over. That's next. And it's a flavor fail you can't ignore. 3. The monotony of giant packs. Cheese is meant to be fun. It's comfort food. It's variety. It's that moment of joy when you melt sharp cheddar into mac and cheese, slice some Havarti for a snack board, or layer provolone into the perfect sandwich. But when you walk out of Sam's Club with 5 pounds of the same cheese, that joy turns into a burden. By day 3, you're no longer enjoying it. You're just trying to use it up. And the worst part? It starts to feel like a chore. Like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of cheddar again. One shopper put it perfectly. I felt like I was in a committed relationship with a block of mild cheddar. That's both hilarious and painfully accurate. Because bulk buying limits your flexibility. It locks you into repetition, kills creativity, and turns mealtime into monotony. You start avoiding recipes just so you don't have to use that same cheese again. And when you've had enough, you toss it. Another deal turned waste. Another reminder that more isn't always better. So here's a thought. What if true value isn't in how much you get, but in how much you enjoy it? Because flavor fatigue is real. And when cheese becomes boring, it stops being food and starts being a guilt trip in your fridge. But stick around, because now it gets real. The next two reasons? They go beyond your wallet. They cut into something way more important, your health, and your right to choose better. Let's get into it. 2. Processed to the max. Here's where the cheap price tag comes at a real cost. And not just to your wallet. Many of the lowest priced cheese options at Sam's Club aren't really cheese in the way you think. They're processed slices, stuffed with fillers, artificial coloring, stabilizers, and ingredients you can't even pronounce without a science degree. One glance at the label and it reads more like a chemistry quiz than a food product. This isn't dairy, it's factory-made imitation, disguised as savings. And what's worse, these processed products are often marketed as family-friendly or lunchbox-ready, preying on convenience while cutting corners on quality. One viewer described it perfectly. It melted weird. It tasted fake. My stomach felt off. That's not just a bad meal. That's your body reacting to ingredients it doesn't recognize. Cheese should be simple. Milk, salt, enzymes. But what you're getting in these hyper-processed slices is a formula built for shelf life, not nutrition. And if you've ever noticed that plasticky layer on your grilled cheese, now you know why. It's not your pan. It's the product. And if it's messing with your digestion, your taste buds, and your trust, why keep putting it in your cart? So ask yourself, are you buying food or filler? Because when something looks like cheese, behaves like plastic, and leaves you feeling off, the deal is broken. Your body deserves better. And so does your plate. Processed cheese isn't just a nutritional downgrade. It's a trick that makes you pay for something that barely qualifies as real food. But don't go anywhere. The number one reason is coming up next. And it might just be the final push you need to walk past that cheese aisle at Sam's Club for good. 1. Better alternatives. Everywhere else, this is it. The final nail in the block of cheddar. And it's not just about what's wrong with Sam's Club cheese. It's about what you're missing everywhere else. Costco delivers aged cheddar that's rich, sharp, and actually tastes like something. Aldi's Emporium selection doesn't just beat Sam's on price. It wins on flavor, texture, and freshness. And Trader Joe's? Their cheese section is like a playground for real food lovers. More variety, better quality, fair prices. So the question becomes clear. Why settle? You didn't click on this video just for curiosity. You clicked because deep down you've had that moment. That weird-smelling cheese. That rubbery slice that refused to melt. That regret after throwing out yet another half-used pack. And now you know it wasn't just you. The problem isn't your fridge. It's the product. It's the system. And it's time to break free from low expectations disguised as big box bargains. So here's the truth. Plain and simple. Sam's Club cheese just isn't worth it. Not when better, tastier, fresher, and even cheaper options are waiting at stores that actually care about the quality behind the price tag. Don't let flashy bulk deals fool you anymore. Make smarter moves. Eat better. Waste less. Because every dollar you spend is a vote. For quality, for flavor, and for the kind of grocery experience that actually delivers on its promises. So tell me in the comments, what's the worst cheese mistake you've ever brought home? Don't miss our next video, 10 Costco items so good they destroy expensive brands. Trust me, number 2 will shock you.